How is your Saturday night going? Are you staying home? Are you staying safe? Are you staying away from that COVID? That COVID will get you.
The COVID's coming, bro. COVID's coming.
I didn't know anybody that I knew directly that had it until this week, and it's a good friend, and luckily he's already feeling better when he found out he had it. So hopefully he's on the upswing. But now his wife, who I'm friends with, and his kid, they got to go get tested. So yeah, be careful out there. It's still here in full force. Don't be fooled.
It is so real. Audio good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, John was having a little bit of technical issues, but I think we're good. Cheers, Johnny.
Yeah, I need a drink. It's been a crazy day.
So, John and I had a talk about 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was another one of these times.
Yeah. And we shot a video in my I have a little room in my house as a library, and then I think your hard drive filled up, and then we had to do the video on something else. And then we never put it out. It just didn't, materialize or come out. So, life gets in the way. Life happens. You move on. So, obviously, things that have happened in our country in the last 2, 3, 4 weeks, 2 months, made me say to John, hey, I think we should have that talk live, because I see a lot of people in a lot of different walks of life and industries talking about it, doing something about it. And man, I just wasn't seeing no one in our e-commerce circles do anything about it, John. I wasn't seeing anyone talk. I wasn't seeing anyone say, hey, we gotta share with everybody. And so I thought, who better to talk than John?
I'm not the one.
You are, though.
Yeah, you think?
Well, and let me tell you right now, anybody tuning in, this will not be a G-rated conversation because John's here.
Put the kids away.
Yeah. Now, if you want the kids to hear some real talk, that's cool, but it is not going to be G-rated. I'll tell you right now.
More likely not.
I'll tell you right now.
Right? That's cool.
So here
the thing is, I'll tell you my perspective. That's all I can come from. I can only give you my truth.
Yeah. And let me tell you why, what caused me to want to do that this week was the amount of people in my social media feeds that were both, I had some racist people in my feed. They're now gone out of my feed, but people who are just dumb. They're just dumb. They're dumb. And I really hate to use the word white privilege, but they're dumb because they're white.
Well, I mean, why not use the word white privilege? What's wrong with that word?
There's nothing wrong with it, but they've never been a person of color, so they have no clue what a person of color goes through, and so they still see the world through rose-tinted glasses, and it just isn't that way. Now, I'm saying that from being a white guy, but that's why I obviously wanted to talk to you, because we had to have this talk, and I want to give a little bit of my history, and then I'm going to ask you a couple questions.
All right.
So I grew up a white kid in middle America in the 70s and 80s. And in my town, there was 2 black families, and that's it. So it didn't have a lot of exposure to black people. But with the advent of cable, a lot of exposure to black entertainment, black movies, black music. And I told you this before, and you kind of laughed, but I was dead serious. I wanted to be a black guy, because I loved watching Break, and I love watching Beat Street, Wild Style, Crush Groove, even Disorderlies with the Fat Boys. I loved all those movies. And I was like, yeah, being a black person is cool. But on the same end, I also wanted to be an Asian ninja. So, I was formed by what I saw in front of me. And I never thought anything of it. Like, I didn't think being a black guy was any different than being a white guy or being an Asian guy. I just didn't think anything of it. And of course, as you grow and get older and move away from your small town and meet people of all walks of life, you definitely see there's, being a white guy is better than being a black guy. And I'm not saying that from white privilege. I'm just saying that we see what's happening in the news. It's a fact. It's an absolute fact. So, and I grew up watching the Dukes of Hazzard. I didn't think the painting on the top of the car was anything other than it was a cool car. So, you grow and you learn. And that's what I wanted to talk about tonight is, I asked you a question. You said, "Oh, save it. Ask me on the air." So here's my first question.
Okay. Yeah.
Do I call you a black man or do I call you an African American man?
Black. That's so stupid simple. It's African American is the dumbest thing ever. And you know where it came from?
Where?
People don't remember. It was 1989. Jesse Jackson made it up.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
See,
yeah.
I didn't know that. So
that's right, because I remember that was Jesse's thing. That we want to be African Americans. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Why do you want to be African American? Africa don't remember you, and America don't want you. That's just two negatives. It was ridiculous, right?
Real enough, and yeah.
At least that was then. That was back in the 80s, right? But I think the real problem I have with African American is that it separates you from black people. See, because there are people in this country that get called African Americans that are actually from Jamaica, right?
Yeah.
They've never been to Africa. They're Jamaicans, but all of a sudden now you call them or you call us African Americans, then they're Jamaican Americans. But reality, even when I go to the UK, we're all black. So I like that a whole lot better. It's way more inclusive as opposed to making a differentiation between our existences. That's why I like black. It is who we are, and it is something that we really united around back in the 70s.
Yeah, when that came out, not realizing that was like a specific moment where Jesse Jackson said it. But, I always refer to black men, black women. And saying African American, actually, that made me feel weird inside where saying black didn't. And then I thought, am I racist? Because African American just didn't seem, it seemed too specific. Like you said, what if you're Jamaican? What if, you know
what? I just felt it was contrived. It just felt like, I don't know. I mean, we went from, we went from the first N word, which I'm going to be nice about and try not to say. Then we went to Negro, right? Then we went to Afro-American, then to black, then African-American. I think out of all of those, black is by far the easiest.
And just a point of technicalness, Andrew said that you're a little bit less in volume than me because you're on an iPad. So what I did was I turned the gain down on my mic and I backed away from my mic a little bit. So if you guys want to turn it up a little bit, I'll try not to blow your ears out.
I hope that works. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, John's computer wasn't playing nice, and it hasn't for a while. John, if you're old enough to remember Max Headroom, that's how John looked for a few seconds.
I know.
Like it was like. So going back to speaking of TV shows in the 70s and 80s, were you a Dukes of Hazzard fan when you were a kid?
Of course. Who didn't love Dukes of Hazzard, man? So it's like Bo or Luke, go.
Oh, Bo all the way. Plus Bo's giving me an autograph, so I got to stick to that. Yeah, he was working with my friend a few times, and she was nice enough to grab that. All right, so because of that, let's talk about this. So what are your feelings on pulling the entire show to never be seen again, basically?
I mean, here's the thing. I think what's happening right now, see, this is what's happening right now, is that everything, see, I'm trying to figure out how to put this. See, we're old. See this? People, and most people watching this, most of you guys that are watching this, you're old. You are old as fuck. And you don't feel like it because we just feel the way we feel. And we grow up with that. But let's fast forward and look at my 21-year-old daughter. All right? Let's see what their world is like. And let's try to look at it from their viewpoint real quick. Because those are really the people that are out on the streets. Those are really the kids, not just the 21-year-olds, but the millennials, right? The millennials are out there on the streets right now. This is their movement. I'm in the back seat now. I had my moment, right? I had my moment. Rodney King was my moment. Understand that black people in general in this country have been angry about their treatment since they came on the first ship. Let that sink in first.
Yeah.
Just recognize that every generation of black people have been mistreated in some fashion or form in this country. All right. So now we fast forward to like my daughter, she's 21 years old. Barack Obama was voted president in 2008. 2008 was 12, wait a minute. Yeah, 12 years ago.
Yes, 12 years ago.
Right? So that means if she's 21, you minus 12, she was 9 years old. So from the time she was 9 years old, for those next 8 years, she lived in a society where she thought, right,
Yeah.
that black was not a bad thing. Matter of fact, there were stories I didn't even tell her because I didn't want to make her feel the way I had to grow up feeling, because I wanted her to have a pure heart. And so I did her a disservice, honestly, because when in the last 3 years, the changes that we've seen seem to her to be so rapid. Oh my God. You know, that's the way she feels. She feels like all of a sudden being black is just the worst thing. That's because we hid from them the past history of where we are, right? So when they see, right, that show, you have to think of how that looks to them.
Yep.
Dukes of Hazzard to us was part of where we grew up, but Dukes of Hazzard to them looks like, you know, American Graffiti, those days, the 50s, and that's what it looks like to them. So I see the old guard, you and I. It's like, ah, man, come on, Daisy Duke, come on. Right? We see it that way, but the way they see it is the symbolism of racism that they thought didn't really exist. They didn't. I mean, we just took down the rebel flag. What was that? When Dylan Roof did his thing, that's when the rebel flag went away. And for them, that was like, oh, that was the last bastion. We're cool. And then when we get what ends up happening is you end up. I mean, I don't want to put it all on him, but I mean, we voted in an administration that was very, very old. All right. When they said "Make America Great Again," the question became, what part of the great? When was the America great? Was it great for everybody?
Yeah. Who's it going to be great for?
Exactly. And so this is the generation right now that is out in the streets. And that's why the streets are talking. But you and I, we don't totally get it because we're a little disconnected from their reality.
You know, I hadn't thought of it from that angle because I don't have children. So to me, it ends at me, you know, because my pug, he don't care about things like that. So yeah, I never thought about it from that. So what do we do about all these movies and records and TV shows that have a rebel flag, have slavery in it, like obviously Gone with the Wind, you know, I forget which Alabama album cover, but it's just the rebel flag. Do we go back and just delete it all, cleanse it, go back and digitally alter it? I mean, what?
You know what?
As a black man, what would you like to see done with anything about the rebel flag, about slavery?
I mean, okay. So let me think. Dukes of Hazzard. I mean, put the damn disclaimer on the front. All right. I mean, if you can, if Darling Nikki, the song by Prince, made every album have to have a sticker of warning on it, for you to tell me that why do we got to do all that when you did that for one fucking song? One song. One man made a song, and white people, let's be clear about this. It was white people had a conniption fit, not because a black man made a song that was racy. It was because a black man made a song that was racy and little white girls were listening to it. That's what did it. So all of a sudden you have, what's her name? It was what's his name's wife? The vice president.
Tipper Gore.
Tipper Gore, before he was the vice president, right? I don't think he was the vice president. He was right. So Tipper Gore actually had a movement, and people don't remember this, but the movement was because Prince made a song called Darling Nikki, and he said the word masturbate in the song. Now, every record since that day has been labeled, but you don't want me to label racist television. Shut up.
All right. So I like that.
I'm not talking about anybody specific,
right?
But it's just hypocritical to me.
Yep. And so now I have a hard time talking about Gone with the Wind because my mother's gonna be like, "What? I've never seen the movie." So when people, okay, I guess we can't talk about it because you and I don't know what the hell happens in the movie. I mean, I got a general idea, but I've just never seen the movie.
Right. I've
so,
never seen the movie.
I remember when a couple of years back, the Dukes of Hazzard car, they would still sell the General Lee, but they got rid of the rebel flag from the top of it. And now with the push to pull it, because I'm like, all right, how far do we go? Let's say Smokey and the Bandit, one of my all-time favorite movies. They pull into the racetrack at the end. If there's a dude in the stands wearing a rebel flag shirt, are they going to now erase that shirt? I mean, how deep are we going to go to change media?
Do you remember? Look, here's the other thing. You remember MTV?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna come at you and be
very,
very real.
I'm like a teenager.
All right, I'm gonna be very, very real, and I want people to understand that this is just me being raw. All right, but I've seen it all. All right, so here's the deal. Up until rap came onto MTV, you could wear any clothing you wanted, and nobody gave a damn. Let FUBU come on TV, and you're wearing FUBU shirts, and all of a sudden all the white kids start wearing FUBU. They decide that they're going to blank out all labels.
Wow.
See, this is the shit. This is the shit I can scope it out. This is institutionalized racism, right? Because they didn't want a black label to get on the level of all of these other labels when black people started actually making money from the fact that they would wear a hat or wear a label on their shirt. Then all of a sudden, we start blanking out every label. But now if I say blank out the rebel flag, oh, wait, well, hold on. Well, this is our history. Oh, my God. What are you doing? Oh, my God. Where does it end? Stop it.
All right. I'm glad you just did that because here's what I was thinking about last night.
What?
Is a black comedian doing a white voice racist?
Let's put it like this. Is a black comedian or any comedian making fun of any race racist? No.
See, I don't think so either. And here's what made me think about that.
I'm dancing because
why?
I mean, here's the thing. The problem is that we have taken everything and thrown it into a new bucket. See, when I was a kid, when you were a kid, who was racist? We hardly ever used that word.
True, yeah.
We didn't have racist. I mean, we did, but that was like the KKK. That was, oh, these racist.
Yep.
But you had Archie Bunker on television. What was he? He was a bigot, right? Yep. Or if you meet somebody and they don't like you because you're black, it's like, oh, he's so prejudiced. But we have taken so there was like levels to this shit, right? But all of a sudden, everything's racist now. And so we've really kind of commingled everything into this bucket of racism. And racism is an ism. And you got to look up the suffix of an ism. An ism is a whole structured system, right? So you got sexism, right? You got racism. You got nationalism. You got to understand the ism part. And everything is not an ism. That's the key.
So when someone digs up a 20 hold on a sec. Yeah, apparently I got to take care of something.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we got a little. All right, I'll keep an eye on that. Um, so they dig up a 21-year-old skit of Jimmy Fallon playing Chris Rock, and they call him out for blackface
because he dressed up like a black person. Yeah,
right.
So here's the thing. I don't understand blackface. I don't get it. I don't understand why white people do it. My sister loved Madonna. Loved Madonna. One year, that year where everybody was Madonna, she dresses up like Madonna and goes out trick-or-treating. Do you think she colored her face? I don't get, when do you see black people coloring their face? I get it. Don't give me the damn one movie that was out, that was whatever that sister movie was, right? One movie, there's one other movie called Watermelon Man. There's two movies maybe. I'm like, but what? I don't get the everyday person painting their face black. Blackface is so like alien to me. I don't get it. I've never seen a black person on Halloween paint their face white to emulate any other. I don't get that shit. That's the weirdest shit to me in the world. So white people first need to explain blackface to me because I don't get it.
So they pull out Jimmy Fallon.
He did do a skit.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So they pull out Jimmy Fallon and they give him all the grief where it should have fallen on Lauren. He's the boss. He allowed the skit to happen. But how do you pull out Jimmy and not pull out Eddie doing the old white man going into the barbershop? What's the difference?
Yeah, there's not any difference.
And come on, white girls by the Wayans brothers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a couple of instances where we can talk about actual
white chicks.
Movies.
Yeah, sorry, thank you.
Those are actually white chicks. Thanks, right? Thanks, guys. So yeah, we can talk about white chicks, but we can also talk about the one with Thomas C. Howell. I don't remember.
Thomas Howell, Soul Man.
Thomas Howell, Soul Man. So, and I remember when that movie came out. So you have to understand that you got to put things in time frames. All right. So when we went through the Me Too movement, right, we didn't remove June Cleaver, right? What did June do? She was always in her maid outfit, wasn't she? She always looking like she's working in the kitchen, right? So I think there has to be some understanding about the period of the piece, And so we lived in a different time than they're living in today. You can't look at today's lens and necessarily judge the character of a person from yesterday. I can only judge you really from the lens of where you are today because America has moved from the 80s and the 90s up into the 2000s and 2020s. So we have to keep that in mind as well. It was a different culture. We had a different mindset. Yeah. And I get it. So he needs to be able to articulately explain what I'm explaining right now.
Yeah. I mean, as generations go on, we all change. I didn't think anything of the rebel flag when I was 8 years old.
Me either, bro.
But I get it now for sure.
That was just the general league.
Yeah. So how far, I mean, there's a point where it has gotten ridiculous to dig back 20 years, 30 years, 50 years. Shit happened. We are different people than we were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And you wake up because also what has happened in the last 20 years, media, which causes a lot of the problems, but also this, we can see a lot more stuff because we all have amazing cameras in our pocket. Amazing.
Anybody that thinks, yes, you're so right, man. Anybody that thinks that CNN and Fox News and these old bullshit ass media outlets, anything that those people say was said yesterday on Twitter. All right. Because the news is already moving way faster than any of the channels. CNN doesn't make up shit. Anything I see on CNN today, I read on Twitter yesterday. Pretty much they're breaking news my ass. There's nothing breaking on CNN. Nothing.
So look, let's talk about what's happening right now. going back and digging up some performance from 30 years ago is ridiculous at this point. I really think. I mean, so when do we call Gene Wilder out for Silver Streak? Or when do we call Dan Aykroyd out for Trading Places? You know?
Say what? Do it again?
I said, when do we call out Gene Wilder for Silver Streak, where Richard Pryor puts the shoe polish on his face to sneak him by the cops? I mean,
they're dead.
But it's coming, John. You know it's coming. It's coming because people want to dig up shit and be like, well, look. All right, let's move forward to a point.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm not saying forget history. I'm not saying let things go when they, to be racist, it's got to come from a racist standpoint. If Richard Pryor wrote that scene for Gene, is it racist?
Yes, absolutely.
But do we go back and dig up the poor man? And
I'm just saying, what we don't want to admit, actually, Jason, is that America's racist.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. We see it's our rose-colored glasses. Our rose-colored glasses are racism. It's all right here. Everything we see is through the lens of racism. It is ingrained in our culture. Children don't start off racist. Children don't start off prejudiced. We teach them that. And if we don't teach them in our homes, the television will teach them. Why do you say that, John? Well, I say that because, blackmail is bad. Not the black male, but if you do something bad, it's called blackmail, right? If I open my computer and I look at the wires, the black wire is always the negative. Why is that? Why is angel food cake white and devil's food cake black? Why is that? Why does the licorice that's black taste like shit? Why is that? Do you understand what I'm saying? Somebody did that. I don't know who, but if you put it all together, and I could go on and on and on about the black always being in the negative. The only time I know black to be positive is when the stock market is black. But I probably have a reason for that, because when the stock market was up, they were selling a lot of black people.
So Yellow Brick Reselling's got a great question. And then I want to address something that got deleted too. So can black people be racist against black people?
I see. That's what I said. When we put it in the bucket of racist, I don't think that word accurately describes every instance. Can black people be prejudiced over the skin color of other black people? Absolutely. But then you have to go and you have to say, well, where did they learn that from? Do you understand that they used to have actual names for the degree of white blood that you had inside your skin? So they had octoroons and nectaroons. You need to look this shit up. See, I know my history, right? But white people don't know their history because they're privileged. That's why I call it white privilege. You don't need to know your history because it's taught the way they want you to be taught, right? So absolutely, back in the day, they had black people that were passing. The lighter your skin was, the closer you could be into the house. The dark-skinned black people would be out in the field. So they taught us this in the environment that we were raised in. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, just the act. And the only reason why I know this, the only reason why I have proof of this, here's the funny thing, right, is that it's the water you and I swim in, right? We were born in this racist or race-based country, right? And it's not been around that long. Let's put it like that too. 400 years. It's not that long in the grand scheme. When you went to England, you were standing in places, oh, this place is 1,600 years old. Be like, whoa, shit, right? America's very young. But when I left America the very first time, and I'm talking about not to some damn Jamaica and shit like that. When I actually went to Australia, as a black guy, you have a chip on your shoulder. You always do. There's always this thing. Like when people say, I'm colorblind. I don't have that opportunity. I never can be colorblind because no matter how blind I am to my color, you always can see my color, right? I don't have the That's why I call it again. That's a privilege. When you say somebody says, "Well, you know, I'm colorblind and I don't see any color," I'm like, "Well, guess what? That is the definition of privilege." So when I left America with my regular just black chip on my shoulder, right, and I go to Australia, and it was the first time in my entire life, bro, that people looked at me as American, and that's it. I wasn't black American. I was just the American guy, which was the weirdest thing for me. I had to shift everything that I learned. All the chip just didn't work. I didn't need the chip.
Yeah.
It was so weird, you know? Piper John, the earth is inhibited by one race. That is how we all need to think before it all goes away. Fantastic. Go for it. Go for it. I don't have to think that way. I already think that way. I'm trying to get everybody else to join me in the fucking song. Don't sing the song to me. I wrote the damn song. Black people have been singing the song since we've been here.
Oh, by the way, people want to hear us sing Ebony and Ivory. Speaking of singing songs.
Oh, my God. No.
And thanks for causing the argument in the chat about if black licorice is good or not. I feel like it's yummy. It sucks. It's yummy. It sucks. Hey, I want to address something. I got a lot of good friends who are admins on my channel. We've had a couple not so good comments get removed, and that's fine. One didn't need to be. I was going to address it. Charles said, why is this conversation going on here? Isn't this a channel about reselling? Charles, you're part of the problem.
No, that's a good point.
But why can't we have this conversation? Why not?
Well,
it's my world. It's John's world. It's your world. And right now, the world's a hot mess.
It's a hot mess.
Yeah. And so why shouldn't we talk about it as a black man and a white man who happen to be friends? Why can't we have an open conversation about what goes on? So here's what I want to talk about now, because this is where I think there's a lot of dumb people who have white privilege in my feed. Because what happens? All right, let me rephrase it this way. Have you ever been pulled over for being black, John?
Next question.
All right. I have never been pulled over for being white. However, I have been pulled over for breaking the law, or the story I'm about to tell for a perceived breakage of the law. I was driving on the Ohio Turnpike, and this was like 90s, mid-90s. And it was nighttime, and I was in the passing lane doing about 4 or 5 above the speed limit. And I'm coming up over a hill. And as I come up over the hill, there's a truck pulling a trailer, and not like a semi-truck, like a pickup truck, in the fast lane going like 52. We're on the turnpike where it's like 65, and I'm doing like 70. And man, on him. And that gave him the little flash, not a honk, not a long, and he moves over. Well, next thing I know, I'm lit up by a cop, and I'm thinking, the hell? So I wait because I got to pass this truck now, and there's a semi. So by the time I pull to the right, he's super pissed at me because he yelled at me that I didn't pull to the left in the middle of the median. I'm like, I didn't even know that was an option. My bad. And he, license registration. And I said, hey, what are you pulling me over for? Like, I mean, really, you're going to give me for like 4 miles over the speed limit? He goes, you're following too close. I go, what? Now, the next thing I said and did, you could never do. And that's what I want to talk about. He ended up giving me a ticket. And I said to him, you better fucking show up in court because I'm going to walk right the fuck out. Because it was a bullshit ticket. And hey, I'm smart. I married a woman whose father is a lawyer. So the day of court, when we showed up and the officer was sitting there, my lawyer talked to the judge behind closed doors, and I left, just like I said I would. But I put the cop on blast while he's pulling me over. You could never do that.
I'm not going to say I never could do that, but I've been taught not to by my father. My father taught me very, very well, man. He's a very intelligent man, a very aware brother. You know what I'm saying? I grew up, my dad was the guy with the big fro, the dashiki on, Black Power, 70s guy. He was that guy, right? And he taught all of his boys. He's got 6 boys. 6, 5, something like that. I can't remember how many kids he got. But he taught us all. He taught us all. I think there's 5. So he taught us all about how to deal with the cops, how to respect their authority, because a cop has the authority to really make or break your day. No matter who they are, no matter what you've done, they have the authority to make or break your day. I think the difference is that the way that they prejudge, because we prejudge everybody, but the way that they prejudge a black male versus anyone else, even black females, the way that they judge us, I think it is always not just as a threat, but it's always a desire to exercise their authority. So if you recognize their authority from the beginning, you usually end up in a pretty good state. So what you did, I probably would not do, because I don't want to end up on the ground like so many other brothers do.
Yeah. Now, I didn't end up on the ground, but if I was black,
you probably would.
Yep, I probably would have.
And it wouldn't be that. What it would be like, step out the car for a minute. I'm going to run your license. Stay right there. Don't put your hands back in the car. All of these things that they will do to instigate. So if you ever notice, they use loud language. They always use that loud language. Have you ever yelled at your puppy?
No. And he shits in my shoe.
Right. I mean, but have you ever yelled at an animal? What does it do? Have you
yeah. I mean, I have. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
You ever yell at a person or an animal or somebody that's not expecting it? It makes you jump. Right? So then all of a sudden, the next thing is, stop resisting arrest. Stop resisting arrest. And you're like, oh, fuck, I'm not resisting arrest. You're just, oh, my God. And then all of a sudden, it's like, bang, bang, you're done. Watch the videos. We see the videos over and over and over again. It's the same scenario. They're screaming at you. They're yelling at you. You're freaking the fuck out because you ain't did shit. And all of a sudden, bam.
So when people in my feed are like, I don't understand why Colin Kaepernick's kneeling. I don't understand why anyone's kneeling while they're doing this. I'm like, it's because you're white. That's why you don't understand. I can mouth off to a cop who really pulled me over unjustly and gave me a bullshit ticket, but I can mouth off to him and then drive home without incident.
Colin Kaepernick, let me make everybody very, very clear. Colin Kaepernick was kneeling so motherfuckers would not burn down your city. Feel me?
I feel you. It has nothing to do.
I mean, look, don't come to me today and be like, oh, these riots and this stuff, it's just too much. Y'all need to do it like Martin Luther King. Colin Kaepernick did it like Martin Luther King, very silently. But let us never forget, motherfuckers killed Martin Luther King too.
Yep.
Martin Luther King's not here. He's dead. So don't bring out Martin Luther King and say do it like he did when you killed him. I mean, give me a break, people. This is the frustration that our children have today. They've tried all of these things. They tried it King's way. They tried it Kaepernick's way. Don't be, thinking that this is about disrespecting the flag. You people get on my nerves with this thinking that you're disrespecting the military as if black blood didn't shed for this country. Every freaking war you have been in, from the first war for you to be free from England till today, was sprinkled with black blood. Don't ever tell me about the flag. The flag belongs to my people every bit as much as your people. Period. Shut the fuck up. You're not going to put this out after this, right? This is done. John's crazy. He's done.
John's off his rocker.
Here's the thing, man. I have worked all of my life to be able to be free and say the things that I want to say. And I think the things that need to be said. Nobody runs John Lawson's life. I have worked all of my life to get free enough from corporate America. So nobody's going to sit. My boss is not going to see this. I am my boss, right?
I feel you. I'm the same way.
You feel that? So freedom, the freedom to be able to speak truth to power is a very, very hard thing to come by. And everybody doesn't have that. Colin Kaepernick did not have that. He was trying to speak truth to power, and they fired him. You can't fire me. That's true. That's why I can say things tonight. Ooh. And I look, and here's the better part, to be honest with you, Jason, is that things that I'm saying now, I couldn't even really rightly say. And that's why we buried the video, not buried it, but I was like, you know what? I don't want to put this. Remember, I told you, I was like, we did this thing before. I said, man, I don't think I want to do that. Why? Because I had to go and stand on stage with people I know are feeling the way they feel in their own feelings. But see, I don't even have to do that right now. I can't even do that. So it is partly because of COVID-19 that I'm free enough at this point to tell you exactly what I'm feeling. I could be wrong. This is John. I'm not speaking for all Black people. I'm speaking for John Lawson. These are my observations. These are my feelings. And this is the way I roll. But it's not for everybody.
And this is the way I roll. Apparently, someone doesn't
appreciate you, man, because I know you're on the hot seat. You're gonna be in trouble, man.
Well, let me ask you about that, because someone on your friend list, matter of fact, has called me a racist more than once.
Really?
And there's no place in this world where you're gonna find me being a racist, because that just doesn't happen. So what do you think, as a white guy, should I address it or just ignore it?
If somebody calls you a racist, ask them for what first.
Oh, he's got a for what, but it's all made up in his head. It's all made up in his head. There's no ever visual proof. So do I just say, you know what, he's a fool, I'm not going to say a word, or do I stand up and go, fuck you? No, I'm not, because then it turns into, hey, look, I got a Black friend, I can't be racist. You know,
I didn't pull out my white card.
I had a talk with a guy who was arguing about Kaepernick being a piece of shit because he kneeled, and he called him an Afro punk. I go, that's kind of some casual racism you got going on there. And you know what he said?
What?
My boss is Black, therefore I cannot be a racist. I go, that's maybe the dumbest reasoning I've ever heard. So much dumber than I have Black friends.
Let me just ask him, has he ever called his boss Afro punk?
No, I'm sure that didn't happen.
Or you know what? Then he'll say, well, punk is a bad word. Just call him Afro boss and see how he feels. He knows that we know when we are crossing those lines. Let's not pretend. I just had a guy on my timeline, and I don't like passive aggressive racism. I can deal with people that are prejudiced, bigots, racist. I can deal with them when they're honest about it. I have racist friends. How about that? I just told
you you did. Well, no, I told you I have a friend who's calling me a racist.
No, I'm talking about I have racist white friends. All right? I have actual racist white friends. I've got people in my family that are actually pretty racist, right? Because I come from a blended family, right? So the deal is, I can deal with you when you're being 100% and transparent, just like you're being 100% right now. Me and you can have a discussion.
Yep.
But if you are going to be passive aggressive with me, that's going to make me, I just don't like passive aggressive. I don't like it. It's something that I fight with you or somebody over. So
you ain't fighting with me.
yeah, not you. So I'm like, if you have your feelings and your emotions and you think certain ways about Black people, and me and you can sit down and we can hash that out. And 90% of the time, I'm gonna say 80% of the time, we'll walk away from the table with an understanding. We won't agree, but we'll walk away with an understanding. I will respect you because you told me exactly how you feel and who you are. And I can deal with you at that level.
So feel this. You didn't give me an answer. What should I do when I'm called a racist?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure people think I'm a racist. Who cares?
You just ignore it, don't you?
Pretty much. I mean, unless they're, you know what? You have to So in social media, and I was telling a friend of ours this today, and they were like, come and engage in this conversation. And I'm like, and it was on somebody else's timeline. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to engage. I only engage so much on somebody else's timeline. And the reason why is because 90% of the stuff that I say on my timeline, I'm not saying to convince anybody. I'm actually saying it to encourage those who believe the way I believe. See?
Yeah.
Because people have to want to listen before we can have a real conversation. You can't, somebody going like this, why talk to them?
Here's the other thing that's bugged me about my feed. So people think that Colin's disrespecting the flag in our military, which isn't true at all. They want to hook on to the fact that George Floyd was a criminal and we shouldn't be standing up. And what they don't understand is it isn't George Floyd, really. George Floyd was just the straw that broke the camel's back. Absolutely. But it could have been any person of color that got killed unjustly in the last month, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months. George just happened to be the one, unfortunately for him and his family, but it happened to be the one. And the people that want to hook on, well, he is a criminal.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. If that's the case, we should burn the General Lee because he was a criminal. Matter of fact, he was a turncoat. Matter of fact.
You mean the actual person, not the car?
Oh, the car.
Oh.
Let's burn the fucking car. It's named after a criminal.
Well, say, because you said he, I'm like, most cars are she's.
Yeah, okay, I got you. Right? But here's the thing, man. I watched the Candace video, the coon dance, right? I watched her, right? Her whole thing was about this, and she said something like, and the black people are the only one that'll take a criminal and put him on a t-shirt. I'm like, sorry, I have to get my prop.
Oh, of course, I have no prop. Oh, I got my t-shirt on. I got one prop. And I got my rage banner.
What you got? What you got?
I've got my Wakanda is not a shithole country.
Black people might put their people on a t-shirt, but white people put them on their money. Okay? So get over that bullshit. I'm trying not to just like be crazy. I live in a place called Stone Mountain. You go to Stone Mountain and the Confederate generals are carved on the side of a damn mountain. And you talking about a guy that had drug problems and was on a t-shirt. Shut up. I mean, it's so ridiculous. Everybody has a point that will change everything, right? I mean, you think about it. We talk about all of our, what do you call those guys? The ones that built this country.
The founding fathers?
No, the war. The soldiers in that war were all rebels. All rebels, right? This country, when they went and got on a ship, they got on a ship owned by the Europeans and took the tea and dumped it. They had a damn tea riot. And they teach us this in our high schools and our elementary schools. The Boston Tea Party is a good thing because they rioted and they looted and they pillaged and they took people's business. That was somebody's business that they burnt down and they threw it over in the ocean. Dude, it's just so hypocritical. Stop it. Stop it. I get it. But if it wasn't for the Boston Tea Party, there would probably be no America. At some point, when you have so much tyranny and oppression, people snap back. And what we're experiencing today is a very bad snapback. So in order to avoid snapping back, you have to make sure you don't kill Black people on camera for 8 minutes and 49 seconds. I don't care who it is. You don't do that for a person that's on drugs. You don't do that for a person that had already been, you don't see him resisting arrest. You don't even
Never.
You don't see it. Matter of fact, at 8:49, he had probably already been dead for 2.5 minutes of that. This is how disgusting it is. Don't come to me and tell me, look, what you end up doing with that is you undermine the entire, that's why the whole system's falling apart. You've undermined that man, that police officer, those police officers have undermined the entire authority because now you can't be trusted. It's horrible what they did, and we need to focus in on what they did, not who they did it to. It is not about who they did it to. It's the fact that they fucking did it. You are focused in on the wrong thing. Uh-oh, I can't hear you.
Sorry, I bumped my mic. That's the good and bad. The good thing about this mic is when it's red, it's on. I like a light up mic. Chris says, I'm not trying to be a smartass, but this shit really pisses me off. How do you know the cop's racist just because he pulls you over? Well, I got to guess from a black man standpoint, if you get pulled over doing absolutely nothing.
That's usually just pretty much a sign. And I never said that they were racist because they pulled me over.
Oh, and yeah. And that's the other thing.
Question, so I don't want him to misunderstand the question. The question that was asked of me, have you ever been pulled over simply because you were black? I said to that question, yes. However, it could have been because I'm cute.
Well,
okay, but we don't know. But the fact is that it happened so many times because I have the kind of money that I can drive nice vehicles that it ended up where, I mean, I've been driving good cars for a long time and I've been pulled over so many times, but I'm such a good law-abiding citizen. I know there was no problem. No, what's the problem, officer? They just checking. Oh, we ran your tag. You know, why are you running my tag? I ain't do shit. It must be because they saw me drive by and I was black. Why would you run my tag for any other reason? I don't get it. But it could be because I'm cute. I know I'm cute. That's my damn problem. I'm an old cute man.
Stacey's in love with that. See, you went down the cute path and I lost my train of thought. So if you have not seen the Jay Farrell video yet, go watch that later. Jay Farrell's, if you don't know who Jay is, he's a comedian. He was on Saturday Night Live for a couple seasons. He's an actor, TV's movie. He recently got pulled over for mistaken identity. And if you watch the video, because there's cameras everywhere, if you watch the video, he complies with everything they say, put him on the ground, handcuffs. He does not do anything but listen to every demand, and the cop still put his knee on his neck. Now, okay, I remember my point now. Good gosh. There are bad cops, but the other thing is, because we've seen these bad cops, because of all the videos, it does not mean that everyone's saying every cop is bad. And people hook into that too. No, I've never said that. But man, John and I messaged John last week and I go, you know, you think these morons would be good for a week because everyone has got their eyes on everybody and everyone's got their camera rolling. And then that night, after John and I talked about it, some cop did something stupid on camera. And then last night, they shoot that guy in the parking lot of Wendy's. And there's like, in Atlanta, there's like 17 camera angles. It's like a Spielberg movie, the amount of angles from the people in their vehicles to the security cameras on the building. And you can paint a real picture. And the problem is we're seeing what's happening on camera. What's happening when places in those small corners of our world that there isn't a camera, what's happening?
Look, not only that, Jason, if you really think about it, this is while cops are already on alert. You're seeing this when it's already there on alert.
On alert. You're right. Yeah. On alert. And everyone's got a camera.
Just what do you think when they're not on alert? When they've not already been riots in the streets over their behavior? What did you think it was like then? Huh? What did you think it was like back in the 60s when no white person cared? Right? I mean, very few. I'm not gonna say no white person, but you know, the thing is, it's hard, man. It's such, I don't think people understand the pressure psychologically that children, and I mean children, grow up in the society with that are of color when it comes to the police. Because I was telling a friend of mine, you know, we were talking about the police and run-ins with the officers. You know, they are very, very cognizant to make sure that they teach young black children a lesson when they're very young. Very young. So most black males, at least, I don't know about females, most black males can tell you about their first run-in with the cop, and it usually is when you're around 12, 13, 14, 15. Because that's when they single you out to make sure that they implant the fact that we rule over you. Honestly, believe it or not.
Yep. That's not a conversation my father ever had to have with me.
Never. Because we know that when we send our children out, that they might not come back home if they run into a cop. We know this. We know the statistic numbers are that 2.5 times. Black men are 2.5 times more likely than a white person to be killed by a cop. 2.5 times. Does that put any pressure on your life when you know you're 2.5 times more likely to die at the hands of a cop? That's pressure. You already know this, or you know a cousin. Every black person I know, man. I asked a question on my timeline. I said, black men only, answer this question. Have you ever had a run-in with the cops? And the stories they told me were just amazing. So we all have a scar. That's that chip. The chip on my shoulder is the foot on the neck. Jay Farrow, in his video at the end, he said, I never had a run-in with the cop before like this ever in my life. All of a sudden, he's scorned. He's scorned. You have a bunch of black men that are scorned by actively racist treated by actual law officers. And it's not a good thing. We shouldn't have that. That needs to be eradicated. That will cure a lot of the race problems in America. Seriously. So,
wow. Yeah, I got to ask you a couple things about some graphics that showed up in my feed. So here's the problem I have with people on social media. Do some damn research. Quit posting stuff and memes that aren't true with a 10-second Google. Please. And stop posting 4-year-old news stories because it fits the narrative today. I'm sorry some cops got ambushed 4 years ago. I'm very upset by that, but it has nothing to do with what happened today. So please look.
You know what? It has nothing to do with me. So this is the problem. I give you this, right? The next time you sip on Coke, should we take it because it's a racist drink? Yes, motherfucker. Yeah. Stop drinking that shit.
Chris,
how about that?
Chris, I have never been pulled over because I'm white. Ever. Every single black person has been pulled over because they're black. That's the difference. Truly the difference, Chris.
Chris, no, that's good. I want to talk this.
Oh, hang on. And you're frozen. So hang on a second.
Talk.
Hold on. You're frozen. There you go. So let me say this real quick, and then we'll get to what Chris said. Sure. There is a little falsehood in this graphic. He wasn't the founder. The dude created Coca-Cola and then sold it. So this graphic isn't, again, it took me 2 seconds to find out that he created the formula and then he sold it. He wasn't the founder of Coca-Cola. All right. I'll get off my
here's the thing. I mean, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to change the argument. Okay? So the argument becomes, it's okay that man stood on this man's neck for 8 minutes and 49 seconds. So let's drink some Coke. I don't understand the correlation.
So Chris doesn't believe that white people don't get pulled over for the color of skin and black people do. Well, then you have your head in the sand, Chris. You really do.
You know what? It may have happened. Fantastic. Bring me the evidence. All I know is that all the black guys that I've talked to, and I asked the question on my channel, and they responded, that is what they responded. All right? Like I said, because maybe you weren't listening. Let me slow down. Maybe you weren't listening. that I've got 5 brothers. All right. So out of all of our family, every single one of us have been stopped by the cops for no reason at all other than that we're black. All right. And not just one time, multiple times. We've had run-ins with police officers. All right. Now I'm going to put a cherry on top of it for your ass. All right. Because I'm married to a white man.
Oh, snap. What?
Oh, snap, bitch. Now, so if you want to call me racist, go for it. However, here's the deal. My white husband actually had an incident where he was at fault in a car accident. It was a minor car accident, little bump in the back. The lady jumps out of the car and is like, he's drunk. He's drunk. I'm calling the cops. I'm calling the cops. She's acting crazy, right? Black woman, right? So it's a black woman, her kids, and she says that my husband's drunk, white guy, right? Call the cops. Guess what? The cops get there. My husband calls me on the phone. He's like, man, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. This lady's calling me cops and she said I'm drunk and we just had a little bump. And I'm like, babe, just chill out. Wait till the cops get there. Explain it to them, blah, blah, blah. He said the cop drove up. She's going batshit crazy. Oh, my neck. He done did it. He's like, ma'am, hold on. I'll be right back. He walks to my husband's car. He says, can I see your license, sir? He gets his license, gives it back to my husband, and says, you can go.
Whoa.
My husband came home. He said, I have never in my life thought I would actually be a party to white privilege. But that was 100% white privilege. He didn't check me. He didn't ask me to do nothing. So you can say what you want because that's your experience. But you can't discount my facts. Period. So take that and deal. That's it.
Here's one thing we talked about that I'm like, oh, I almost forgot about it, but I definitely wanted to because I've seen the other side of it at least for a minute. If you recall the conversation. So Stacy and I, my wife who just walked in, who's sitting right there. Hi, honey.
Hi, guys.
Stacy and I, a friend, and my brother were on our way to a rap festival, and it was
yes, you got to tell us.
Okay. Yeah. Look, I told you I loved black music, and I went to a lot of shows. I mean, so I grew up in the country. I mean, my first concert was a country artist, but I quickly enjoyed black music. So me and 2 white female friends, when we were teenagers, went and saw Karen White, Rob Bass and Easy Rock, and Bobby Brown at the Height. And it was the first time I'd ever been to a concert where people dressed up. And I didn't know that was a thing. Like, I'm a country boy.
No,
we wear jeans and a
t-shirt. That is an Ohio thing, okay? That is an Ohio thing. They go with Sunday clothes.
So I'll still go see rap shows. I love rap. But we went to a festival, a rap, like 10 rap acts. And on the off-ramp, we're watching a dude get a DUI. And because I'm watching it, I run into the car in front of me. And so Stacey and I were dating. I total her car. And the cops come, of course. And the car I ran into had 4 black men in it. None had a driver's license. They were in way more trouble than I was, and I creamed their car. But that wasn't there wasn't nothing else going on other than I got my ticket. The tow truck took my car away, and we walked into the show, and the show was about half over. Now we get to our section. We are the only 4 white people in our entire section. And the second we walk in, Public Enemy's on stage. Flavor Flav has chased around a guy dressed like the KKK and hung him on stage. Now, when you're a 6'5", 275-pound white guy, and Flavor's hanging a Ku Klux Klan member, I understand. I understand what it feels like from the other end because I try to hide.
To some degree.
Oh, right. But I try to hide 6'5". I try to hide it because I was like, oh, shit.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. And again, this is my husband, man. We were just talking the other day. He said, I can't ever remember as the white guy in the room. He said, I can never remember anybody ever treating me in a racist manner because of that.
Yeah.
So here you are, the only white guy, right? after they done chased around the KKK guy and hung him, ain't nobody point at you and be like, you're next.
Well, and also, I had no car to leave. So just in case shit popped off, we were stuck since I totaled the car we drove in. And she still married me. She still married me. I messed up the front end so bad, the headlights were pointing straight up in the sky.
She's still mad at you for that, bro. But I mean, you know what? I don't want to leave Lee's Casino that brought in all the great black entertainers back in the 60s. We usually only white people there. And we always had a great time with everyone. And that's your mom, you know, and that is such a truth. I mean, it's such the truth. I mean, like you watch, what is that? The Green Mile. It happened in that movie, you know, and they try to make more drama at it. But usually the white guy ends up being the funnest guy in the room. Everybody likes the white guy. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, black people, just at our nature, I'm not going to say every black person, but I mean, just in general, we're very open and welcoming people. And I was talking to a guy and he said, you know, he wanted to talk to me about this, you know, the taking down of the symbols and stuff. And he said, we just want to have our heritage. And I said, the only problem with your heritage and my heritage is that my heritage is very inclusive. We just want to be included in the fucking conversation. You want to be exclusive. And that is a problem. That's a big difference. You have to think about how twisted that thinking has to be to want to be excluded and exclusive and exclude every other race. I don't know of any organization, honestly, of blacks. Maybe, I don't know. I really don't know of any. There might be mysteries that are on Fox News, which they'll make up some shit. But I really don't know any organization. I watched Jane Fonda on TV just the other week, last week on TV, being interviewed with a black turtleneck and a beanie on her head. You know why? Because she is actually a member of the Black Panthers. She is actually a member. She put in work with the Black Panthers. So she had on her Black Panthers outfit. See, I don't know a black organization that wouldn't welcome good, meaningful white people. Black Lives Matter. Right now, when you go and you look out on the streets, because I was just downtown in Atlanta, it's at least half white.
Hey, Lambda accepted white people.
Before anybody, the black college campuses have white students. I don't understand your desire to be exclusive where you don't let black people, Asian people, women. I don't understand that. It's a very unique thing. And I think at some level, you got to step back talking about these people in the audience and just say, why are we like that? Why is everybody else one way and we seem to be that way? And I'm just talking about here in America. Don't give me about, well, in China, because that's the shit they'll do, right? Well, What do you think about China? I'm like, bitch, I wasn't talking about, I'm talking about you right now. Can we stay on that topic?
I forgot. Oh, it's right over here.
Yeah. All right.
So I got a question, and I don't understand.
Let me ask you this. Do we have any questions? Can we take some questions from the audience?
Yeah, I've been popping them up. Okay. So if you guys got a specific question,
invite them. I really want to invite them because I don't want to leave here.
Right. So I got a couple things to say, but if you got a question that we missed, go ahead and rewrite it, please, and I'll happy to pop it up.
Yeah, because I don't want you to miss who I am, because most of these people that are here know John.
Yes, that was Revenge of the Nerds reference. I don't think John caught it, though.
I didn't watch that movie.
You've never seen Revenge of the Nerds?
Okay, stop.
What? Oh, my God. So there was an Asian girl named Dee that's on this show called The Challenge on MTV. And she said Black Lives Matter. And look, if anyone follows this, I couldn't follow it. But she got fired because she didn't do anything to follow up her statement. And I thought, I must be reading this wrong. So before I brought it up today, I reread it again. And from all I can tell was she said Black Lives Matter. But then people said, well, what are you doing about it? Are you out there protesting? And so I'm like, I think that's weird. I think we got to a point where it's gotten a little too nutty of everyone gets fired because she didn't, like, she said it. Some people won't say it. So she said it, but because she didn't go stand and protest, she got fired. Like, I'm just like,
who
by
fired?
MTV.
Well, that wasn't a black organization.
No. But
Yeah.
but they're saying she didn't do enough. And I'm like, I don't understand. I just don't.
I don't
like
either. So she's got a lawsuit.
All right. So before we get to questions, I do want to share Stone Cold Steve Austin, because when you think of Southern, maybe, and you think of maybe rednecks, Stone Cold kind of might fit that bill. But man, did he own this person. So April said about the Confederate flag, for us, it wasn't a sign of hatred or hate or ignorance. It's a sign of Southern pride, a pride in who you are and where you come from, the people you come from, the people you know, stood for your heritage. Stone Cold said, that's nice and all. But if I recall, it didn't matter what it means to you, because to African Americans everywhere, it's a symbol of oppression, hatred, and inequality. So your little heritage and not hate story don't mean shit, because your stupid little heritage was built on the backs of slaves, and identifying with that kind of sort of definitely makes you trash in the Texas rattlesnake's eyes. So you continue to spew your bullshit, but just know that none of us care, you dumb racist son of a bitch, and that's the bottom line. I mean, that's just, I don't know what's more epic, that or Tom Morello, because some guy said about Rage Against the Machine, I used to be a fan until you got political.
Oh, God.
How can you be a fan
of Rage Against the Machine?
So Morello said, Scott, which songs of mine aren't political? Because I want to get rid of those right away.
Yeah, I mean, wait, the name of the band is what?
Killing in the Name of. Well, I mean, it's the whole point of that band.
It's so stupid. You know, here's the thing. I think this is a watershed moment, because I think it gives I think good white people have been afraid to be vocal, like Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's been afraid.
Yeah.
As powerful and as in your face as he's always been, he's always felt this way. This is not, or at least for a long time, this is not some kind of thing that just came up in him, but he felt very restrained, that he couldn't express himself because the people around him would look at him differently. I think that is the watershed moment that we're having. We're actually, good white people like yourself, Jason, are able to finally, you know what I'm saying, come out and actually, look, I'm not, whatever it is you're thinking, you're not going to get all my followers to follow you anymore, because now you've been exposed and your ideology has been exposed, and either you need to change it or bye. And it's the same thing that happened with Me Too. You know, I'm different. I'm different than I was before Me Too. I think about women completely differently in terms of their story and their struggles, because I hear what I couldn't hear before. I couldn't even, I actually didn't have the capacity. And because I was raised in a man's world. It's a man's world.
Oh, now we're going to sing?
No,
it's the man's.
Right?
And you're right. You're right, because I should have said something and stood up a while ago, and my friend Nadine pushed me a little bit, and I'm glad she did. So James goes to the whatever white person goes to, yes. All lives matter. Thinking yes. Otherwise is being a bigot.
I don't think that's necessarily the case. However, let me just say this. What was his name again? James?
Yeah.
Let me give you a couple examples. One, James, if your mom dies today, and you come and say, John, you know what, man, my mom died today. Damn, I'm so upset. I'll be like, James, hey, all lives matter. You would think I was the biggest dick in the, all moms matter. That's what I was saying. All moms matter, James. What? So your mom died. That's what I'm saying. So what? Your mom died. All right? That's the problem with all lives matter. It only came out after we were trying to make sure that people understood that our life needs to matter. And here's the deal. If Black lives don't matter, then all lives can't matter. So all lives matter is actually bullshit until Black lives matter. So I have to put a trump on your card. You don't have a trump card with all lives matter, because right now, Black lives obviously are not mattering unless you don't think we're part of the all lives, which, yeah, I'm not going to go there.
It's like if I raise money for breast cancer, somebody comes along and goes, "What about colon cancer?"
Yeah, exactly.
Today, right this moment,
That's
we're talking about breast cancer.
Right. That's just you being a
Today, we're talking about Black Lives Matter because, I go it again. So Debbie says, now I'm told that if I say I'm not racist, it says I am racist because I'm white. What the hell?
Who said you're racist because you're white? Whoever said that, Debbie, I release you because I'm the black god now. You're not. Now you can go on with your life. No more what the hell.
All right, so James thinks we're drinking the Kool-Aid now. So, all right, James.
What's the Kool-Aid?
Here, I'll show you what James's follow-up is.
No matter what dismissive is putting on race on a...
We're not putting their race on a pedestal, James. Black men are getting killed. They're getting pulled over for being fucking black. Jesus Christ, get it through your head.
Here's the thing I want to ask, James. Has white people ever put their race on a pedestal? Yes or no? If he answers that, let me know.
All right.
Because fuck it, I know the answer. Absolutely they did. When did they take the pedestal down? That's what I want to know. You know? But anyway, all we're saying is when you have all these cases, do your homework, see if what we have said about all of these cases of black people actually being killed, and then you will understand how a people can feel like Black Lives Matter. Like if you haven't seen the new special, I won't even call it a comedy special because it wasn't funny.
Chappelle. I haven't seen it yet. I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, but one thing, I'm just going to spoil one part, is he made a very good reference. He said that there was an incident in California, you guys remember, where several cops got killed by a black cop. He was a black cop that got released. You remember this? About 2 years ago, 3 years, right? And he went on a killing spree. And the deal was, when they caught him up in the mountains, 400 police officers came and surrounded that. 400 police officers. He said, why do you think 400 police officers were there to capture this guy, to kill this guy? Actually, they killed him, right? He said the reason why is because one of their own was killed. If you see a cop funeral, when they have a funeral, they have a lot of pomp and circumstance and long processions of police officers. Why is that? Because one of their own is killed. So when one of our own gets killed, we feel it the exact same way. We feel like it could have been us. It could have been our son, our brother. So that's one reason why we're not lifting races over above everybody else to feel racist. We're saying that when this thing happened to this brother and this brother and this sister, and all of a sudden nobody's paying for it, we feel that, and we feel that Black lives don't matter. That's where it comes from. You might not want to hear me, but you need to hear me, because that's the reality of Black Lives Matter in the movement. It ain't have nothing to do with nobody else not mattering. We just feel it. That's all.
Yep. All right, let me go through here and see if there's any more questions.
I love that name, Discounters. That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool name.
Yeah. Black God. I'm gonna make you a t-shirt now.
No. No. I'm only being funny, guys. It was just to be funny. I don't know where that came from, but I did finish my drink, so. Part of this is the alcohol. Jason, I can't believe you got me on here, dude.
I'm glad you came.
We're erasing all this. So one time offer.
We're going to sell it on DVD. What are you talking about?
No, hell no, man. All this is look at this angry black man. I'm not angry.
Let me see if I missed anything in my notes. Hey, what's your take? Since we're resellers, let's actually circle it into what we do for a living. What's your take on selling Black Americana?
You know, Man, I'm on the fence on that one. I don't like it, but I know even some black people that collect it. You know what I'm saying? It's a collector's item. It's a period piece. It's part of our history. It does remember and remind us of how we were treated. So I mean, it is what it is, man. It's not the same as ivory. Let's put it like that. Because ivory, you're collecting now and you're killing elephants. So I will make a differentiation. It doesn't make me comfortable, but I do understand that there is a market for it. And some people are racist and love to have a black jockey on their lawn.
And like you said, some black people collect it too.
Absolutely.
So okay, so let's turn even more into the discussion. So I run a big Facebook group, the Thrifting Board, where we talk about, look, the rule kind of always has been, if it's legal to own and you got a question, we can talk about it. I'm married to a very nice Jewish girl. I don't really want to talk about Mein Kampf by Hitler, but okay, someone thrifted it. Here's how you sell. So if someone says, hey, I found some Black Americana stuff, people get mad at me if I allow the discussion. You think it's wrong that I allow the discussion?
No. Not really.
I never thought it was either.
I mean, as long as everybody's keeping the discussion about the item and where it's going to sell and how to,
Yeah.
I mean, I get the
I don't ever allow it to drift from, okay, because you have all these World War II history buffs and they want some stuff from the Nazi side. And so when they find stuff, you can't sell that a lot of places. I definitely don't agree with it. I'm married to a Jewish girl, but I will say, okay, if you want to sell it, here's where. That is not me being pro-Nazi. That's just me being, hey, I'm a leader in the community, and this is
what's the blowback? What are they saying? Why don't they like that?
Because it definitely turns into a racist comment, and I thought we were talking about thrifting. Well, yeah, this guy thrifted it. I mean, it's amazing what you find at garage sales, but I don't have to agree with it or approve of it to talk about it. I mean, there is a line. I probably wouldn't allow. It's weird. I probably wouldn't allow KKK stuff, but we could talk about, like, if your grandfather brought home, he defeated the Nazis and he brought home a Nazi uniform.
So here's the deal.
It's a sticky wicket. It definitely is a sticky wicket.
It is a sticky wicket, but let's put it like this, Jason. If you make your rule, then that be your rule.
Yep.
Okay. So what I'm saying by that is, if you want to say no discussion of that, I would be just as fine with that as you saying it's open for discussion. I don't think there is. I think that's up to you. You know what I'm saying? And I don't judge you based on that, because I get it. It is an actual product that is being sold on the platform. Now, if the platform stopped doing that and you were running an eBay group and you were still talking about it, I'd be like, dude, they kind of don't. I get that. You know what I'm saying? So, but I remember, look, up until, so we were talking about the Confederate flag. You and I both, Ohio. I was from New York, then Ohio. And it's just not a thing, until I moved down here in Atlanta. That's when I really learned about the heritage and all that kind of stuff. And it was like, wow. But we were selling back in the day, rebel bandanas. And one day my husband came to me and said, you know what? We can't sell these anymore. We got kids now, and I don't want the kid to see rebel flags in our house. I was like, really? Is it that big of a deal?
So it was the white half of you that said that. That's very interesting.
Well, because I didn't get it. That's his hair. See, he knew more about it than I did. I didn't know. I was like, oh, that's the thing on the general. See what I'm saying? So I had to be educated, and he helped me educate, or he helped to educate me on the heritage behind all of that. I didn't know, So maybe some of these people don't know about it, but once you know and you still are into it, then me and you got a problem.
So do you agree that cops and live PD should be canceled?
Bye.
John's had like 20-minute answers, everything except for that. Bye.
Right. I mean, the thing is, look, here's the thing. I used to love Cops back in the day in the 80s when it was on Fox.
I don't think I've ever missed an episode in like 30 seasons.
Right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I get it. So the deal was with Cops. The problem with Cops is I think it the way it was produced was feeding into the bad nature of the officer, because cops wouldn't be, nobody would watch it if they wasn't kicking somebody's ass and throwing them in the backseat of the car. See, so the edits are made for you to see that part, but then also they will edit out the part where they say, "Get in the car, nigga." See, they edit that part out. So I feel like it's got this little Disney tinge on it. And for that reason, I think it needs to go for now. All right. If you're going to put the real deal out, then put the real deal out. But that is a Disney version of police officers. And it does bad things for not representing the actual life of a police officer. You didn't see him go home and beat his wife, did you? No. You know, you don't see the cops that have to deal with mental issues because of all the shit they have to put up with on the streets. So it's not given a good representation of the reality of the cops because they put it in there and they put the edits on it. I don't like it. So bye. Real talk. Real talk.
So bye. Linda wants to know, do you think old items should be preserved for the sake of knowing history? So we're seeing all these statues coming down and, Pentagon wants to change the name of some of the military bases.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
I mean, those guys, I mean, why you have enemies of your country as a name? I don't get that. That's just stupid. So
you know what I read yesterday to Stacy that I didn't even think about? Like, it didn't cross my mind. The Confederacy was only 5 years long.
Yeah.
So people are hooking on to something that in the history of time that lasted a blip in time.
Losers. Total losers. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. You go to Germany right now, you're not going to see every statue, every flag wave of Hitler and the SS and the Nazis. You're not going to see that. So you don't have to keep every damn flag or every damn statue up to know your history. That's ridiculous. So let's not play that game. Yes, I get it. You want to put something in a Confederate museum? Fantastic. But we don't have to preserve everything that was built by racist, hateful, slave-owning cheerleaders and keep that for our country. That's not good representation for our children. That's not. That's actually bad for our children to see that. So the things that are bad for our children, we need to take them and put it. And you ain't got, panty ladies standing in the middle of. I've seen some horrible, nasty, naked shit, but you ain't got that sitting around everywhere either. Come on, that's just ridiculous.
Funky Fly Monkey said it very well. Preservation is important. Glorification isn't. And Alan said that's why they have museums.
Exactly. I mean, like I live here in Stone Mountain. Like I said, there's a big carving on the side of that mountain, right? It's as big as I don't remember how big it is. It's huge though. It's huge, big as a building, right? And people have said we should take that down, which would mean they'd have to blow it up to take it down. I personally don't think they should take that down. I think that is a lesson that we should talk about and use it because the symbolism is horrible. But the work of art on the side of that building is pretty amazing. So something like that, I would say, yes, we could really use that and teach lessons with that, But here's the other thing, dude. I remember this. Oh, man. They took my daughter to a plantation over at Stone Mountain, and they were walking them through the plantation. They were showing this is where the peoples lived and this, that, and this. And then they went out to the back house, and they said, this is where the servants lived. I'm like, servants?
Servants?
Yeah. See, that's the problem with bad history.
This is where my assistant lives.
Exactly. See, that's the kind of you gotta be short and understand. You are bad mouthing cops and have no clue what they really deal with every day. This show is horrible, in my opinion. I'm bad mouthing cops and have no clue what they really deal with.
Tina,
Tina, put the bottle down. Put the bottle down.
You are so far left field. I have plenty of cops in my family, friends. Not bad mouthing cops. Bad mouthing shitty cops.
I just said, I mean, you don't know what they go through with all the stress that's in their job. I get it. The job is stressful. However, make this very clear. They fucking signed up for it.
Yeah.
I'm going to make that clear. They get a paycheck for it. They signed up for it. So I'm not going to be all in. Oh, poor cop. Look, you don't like the job. Quit. Somebody else take that position. Just like right now, they're talking about we're going to strike. Fine, strike. We got 44 million people that are on unemployment right now. We will fix you guys. So whatever, Tina.
Hang up, Tina, because we have not been bad mouthing cops the entire show. We're bad mouthing the cops that are fucking assholes that are killing black men for damn sure.
I really haven't talked about cops until we talked about the TV show.
Jeez.
I don't think I ever really mentioned cops in general until we talked about the TV show. So if that's,
there's plenty of other YouTube shows on and cable and oh man, dude, have you watched Jack Ryan on Amazon?
No, you like it?
Oh, we didn't think Jim from The Office could pull it off.
Me either. That's
amazing. Like first episode, I'm like, can we watch them all tonight?
Really?
Yeah. So
okay, but I just want to, I know people feeling like that, and I don't want you to walk away thinking that is my purpose. I do have problems with the institution. Let me just put it like this. Somebody wrote last night on Facebook somewhere and said that if I have one bad apple, I don't chop down the whole tree. And my response to them is we don't have one bad apple. We have bad orchards. And the bad orchards grow rotten trees that produce rotten fruit. So when I talk about the police, I'm talking about the fraternity of the entire structure has poison in it. And it's attracting. Not only is it attracting bad people, but once it gets the bad people, it houses them and it lets the cancer grow. And we need to cut that out. That's my thing. So when you think I'm talking about my uncle, one of the baddest cops, he was a wonderful cop, right? So I got cops in my family.
So do I.
That's what I'm saying. So don't take the self-righteous bullshit and move it somewhere else. If you want to talk to me and have an issue, let's talk about the issue. But don't make it seem like some grand thing that we're just here to bash cops. That's not what it's about. It's not. So, but anyway, you won't believe me anyway. I don't know why.
And it goes back to what we talked about when you and I talked about last week. Okay, the world's on notice that the cops are on notice that they're being watched, and yet they're still doing shit when there's 17 camera angles on them. So what do they do when there's no camera angles? And I'm talking about those cops, Tina, not every cop. I've got cops in my family too. And
but here's the thing. The good cops can't even say the things that they see the bad cops doing. That's the problem. That's why the whole thing is all messed up. Because even when you got a good cop, he wants to talk about, it's bad training, bad supervision, a bad organization, whatever that organization is. The cop,
the Fraternal Order of the Police.
Well, no, but they have a unions. A lot of the unions that they have, bad, protecting very, very poor cop behavior. So we need to change that.
That's the problem. The blue flu, like those couple cops that got removed, and then all those cops that quit.
Bye. Because if you actually do that, then it will release. Just like we were talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin. Why is he able to talk out right now? Why is Jimmy Johnson able to speak out right now? Because the dam has been broken. We need to break that same dam inside the police department so that it can do what it is supposed to do, is protect and to serve and can have healthy police officers. And the other part is that part of the reason why the streets are so bad is because the police are feeding into that as well. We need to change that. It's just not good, man.
Stacy said, has anyone seen Serpico? Should go watch that movie.
That's old school. See, it's been going on forever.
Stacy had never seen it, so we watched it a couple of weeks ago. We watched like a half hour every night while we're in bed, and we watch a movie, every 4 or 5 nights. And I don't know if you didn't know it was real at the beginning, did you? Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, that's actual. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, if you've never seen Serpico or read up on him. It's amazing what one man did to stand up to a corrupt force. I mean, did you see those cops in Chicago taking a nap and making coffee while the city was being looted? I mean, Tina's saying it's the media that's filling us, but what? I don't believe my lying eyes. I see these cops taking a nap in an office instead of actually being out there and being a cop.
There's somewhere the truth is somewhere in the middle, folks. You can't say all
very much. Yes, you're right.
You can't say all that. The truth is somewhere in the middle. But if you say none of that, then you're not in the real world. It's just not. It's not. And it's hurting good cops, guys. It's hurting good cops. There are most of the cops are good. Well, I'll give you that. Most of the cops are good, but the entire organization is fucked up. It is. It needs to be changed.
It's like when you say 20% of the.
What'd she say? Man, this has been cathartic.
Yeah. I get it. She said it's a small percentage, but of course, that's what we're always going to focus on. You're going to focus on this. It's what you hear about. Because, it's like, okay, turn it back to thrifting and selling online. People read Facebook groups, and mine's very tame when it comes to this. Oh my God, I see people having returns and problem customers. I'm like, all right, let's talk about my group, because I don't allow conspiracy theories and all customers are bad bullshit in my group. How many problems did you see in the group today? Oh my God, I saw 5 people have a problem. Okay, there's 57,000 people in my group. Let's say we're really bad sellers and we all only sell 1 item a day. That is 56,999 positive transactions that no one talked about because there's no need to talk about them. But the 10 that did have a problem, or the 5, let's talk about it. Why was that a problem? Was it really the customer's fault? Was it your fault? Was there somewhere in the middle?
Here's the thing, Jason. If you let those 10 fester and you coddle those 10, they will spoil the entire group.
Yeah. So that's why we address it and we come at it with facts. No conspiracy theories. Like my mom and I on our show tomorrow are talking about customer service, and I'm watching other groups. Look, someone lives on Mackinac Island up in Michigan. So if you know Mackinac Island, they don't allow cars on the island, and there is no mail delivery. So the customer said, "Oh, I messed up. I can't get mail delivered. Can you switch it to my PO box?" And this was not in my group. This is another group. The people screaming scam was blowing my mind. Scam, a 2-second Google will tell you there is no mail delivery nor vehicles on Mackinac Island. It's not a scam, you idiots, but that's what people focus on. That's where people are trained to focus on the bad part. We got to address the bad part, but we got to address it and then move on from it.
Hey, let me give you a stat here.
We got stats?
Just one stat.
Is the stat how cute you are?
Yeah, that's true too.
I'm 90%, 92% cute.
2015. It's 2015. 1,348 people were killed by the police.
1,348. Okay.
In Australia, guess how many were killed by the police?
10.
21.
Close.
All right. The UK, 13. We're almost 3 times more likely to get killed by our own police in this country. Are we 3 times worse? I doubt it. It's just not a good look, man. We need some reform. This just needs to change.
Then he should find a way to get a car, or it's a scam. But it relate. Like you got to use your own brain. Nothing truly, like as John said, it's kind of in the middle. Nothing truly is ever cut and dried. Not all cops are bad, but there are some bad ones. Black people get pulled over because they're black. White people don't. Have white people been pulled over because they're white? Yeah, probably because they're in a black neighborhood.
I doubt that. They're pulled over. It's like, everything okay? You okay, sir?
Did your trip ticket get you lost?
You remember that? Oh my God, dude. The funniest movie, man, had to be like, remember Vacation?
Yeah.
Where they, where they go through I don't remember.
Yeah, Southside Chicago.
Or no.
Or
Yeah,
St. Louis. Yeah.
That shit was so funny. Oh my God. Okay, and how many police were killed? I don't know, Robin. You go find that and let me know. So my thing was 1,300 people in the U.S. were killed, 21 in Australia, and 13 by the police. So you go do your homework and you find out. These are my stats. Bring yours. Don't come to a gunfight with a knife. And damn surely don't come to one with some damn questions. Bring some facts.
All right. So should we continue this next week, and then you and I can fight about? Wait. You didn't hear what the follow up is going to be.
He doesn't care. He's not doing it.
Who's a bigger Prince fan? That's next week.
That is not even close, bro.
Yeah, because I've been on the VIP tour. You ain't even got your ass there to take it. So I win. See, it's easy.
I went before they had tours.
Well, you got to get your ass back there because it's a religious experience. Like,
but the thing is, yeah, I mean, we had COVID. I was going this year early.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I wanted to teach a class. And remember, you and I talked. Let me do another class. Then we'll meet and we'll go hang out at,
what? She just asked me that question. I will tell you this. If you find one instance of a man sitting on a cop's neck for 8 minutes and 49 seconds, then we can have a conversation. Until then, STFU.
Woohoo. All right. Well, I thought we'd go like maybe an hour, and we're at an hour and 41. So, and I haven't got to all my notes yet. So let's take a 15-minute, then we'll be back for 2.5 more hours. Just kidding.
I mean, you know what? Here's the thing I want to leave with. All these things that are going on right now are not bigger. 106 cops killed last year in the line of duty. That's horrible. That's horrible. It's sad. Now find how many were killed in the U.S. or in the U.K. and Australia, please. Let's find these numbers. Because the thing is, what we want to do is we want to compare these numbers. And we'll say, hey, if there's 108 or whatever the number was here in the U.S. and there was only 5 or 3 in Australia, right? So 106, right, in the U.S., and we find there's less in Australia, less in the U.K., then we need to figure out, why is this? How can we change these things? That's the whole point of me putting those numbers out about how many people die at the hands of the police in custody, because people shouldn't die in custody. These are people in custody. This is not just people that just shot. This is the number of people that died. I should have made that very clear. These are people that died in police custody, not running from the police, not they just shot them, bang, bang, bang. None of that. These are in custody. So I should have made that clear. I'm sorry. But, okay. I don't remember where I was going before that. Prince fans, I'm the number one Prince fan.
Yeah.
That Prince fan, bro. Look at do you see my shirt?
Purple.
I win.
Purple. My underwear's purple. You want to see it?
No. Yes.
So here, we want to let's
go.
All right. No, I actually got white on tonight. Let's leave you with this: don't fall into the trap of just believing the media, believing your social media feed. It took me 3.5 seconds to find out there was no mail delivery on Mackinac Island. Same deal. Okay. So for people to be yelling scam, it's not. That customer screwed up.
Yeah.
But it takes 3 seconds to Google and find out the truth. Like that, okay, we shouldn't drink Coca-Cola because the founder of Coca-Cola was part of the Confederacy. Nope. He invented the formula. He was not the founder of the company. Again, took me 3.5 seconds to look that up. So do your own research. Don't blindly post memes. Don't blindly post news stories, especially the old news stories. I'm tired of seeing 2014 news stories in the feed like it happened. Poor Middle Arc Lemon dies every 6 months.
You go through my timeline. You will not see memes on my timeline. I don't put memes on my timeline. Memes are for lazy people. Yep. Memes are for people that can't think on their own. Anytime somebody pushes a meme on me, I'm already questioning their intelligence because it's so easy to post a meme without thinking about it, with some graphs in it. It's somebody else that made it up. And guess who probably make those memes up? Russian bots. A lot of that shit comes from Russia because Russia likes to keep us arguing over dumb shit.
Hi, buddy.
They really do, man. So I'm going to leave with this. All of you guys, unfortunately, many of you don't have those that are saying these things to me. Many of you don't have black people you can talk to. Find a black person you can talk to and sit down and have a beer. Seriously, with your mask on, because you need. But I'm serious. I'm just saying, you really, if you want to change this country, we need to have dialogue. And if you're one of those exclusiveness kind of people, you're never going to change. And I get that. Cat memes do rock. I give it to you. Yes. Cat memes. But see, we ain't arguing over cat memes.
But like John said, it's good to sit down with somebody who isn't you. So different race, different religion, different sexual orientation. And especially if they're a friend and they don't mind answering some questions, it really helps you grow and understand. Because like I said, growing up in a small little town in Ohio with like no Jewish families, 2 black families, I think 1 Asian family, I wasn't exposed to much. But I've asked John questions. I've asked John questions about being black. I've asked John questions about being gay. And well, I've tried to kiss you and you won't kiss me. So I don't think you find me cute. But you know, it helps open your brain to other things. So I implore, as John said, all of you to do that when you get a chance. But stay safe. Keep your mask on. Put the little straw through the side.
Or just get on a call. I'll talk to you. You know, me and Debbie talk, right? And we come from totally different perspectives, totally different angles. But after our talk, we came to we get each other, right? She knows that I don't mean, the people she loves in harm, and she knows that I don't, and I know she doesn't want the people I love harm. We can have disagreement, but we don't have to always be disagreeable. And I think social media is so quick to pit us one against another. And trust me, I'm good at it. I get into it, and Debbie, that's good. Some are afraid to have an honest conversation. Yeah. I definitely feel you. I feel you. And here's the other thing too. I watch out there in social media. A lot of your own people are puking. Because you could be on one end, man, and you get some lefty come on, just go, bam, 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 bam. So we all need to find a little happy medium to be able to have a discussion. Things are heated right now. I appreciate you, Jason, for doing this. This was absolutely awesome because you didn't freak out. I never got a response from you, man. You never were like, oh shit, but.
Well, me and you've been hanging out for a long time now, so I knew what I was getting into. So It wasn't like I just grabbed some stranger and be like, let me hear your opinions. But I thought it had to be done because, John and I, we've been friends a long time. We kind of exist in the same plane of life on a lot of things we do. But as you can see, I'm a white dude. He's a black dude. We're both cute as hell. We're both bald with some badass beards. We both love Prince. So we have a lot of similarities. But we can talk about where the similarities end and the differences start. And I do appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight, even those that wanted to, rile some things up. We had to address some things a little more bluntly than I thought we would. But Trolls are going to be trolls. Look, we had a thumbs down before this even started today. Like, you got to have some real hate in your heart to go find out my next video that we're going to talk about race and hopefully all being inclusive and being like, nope, thumbs down. Screw being together.
That's okay. We're going to get rid of this one. It'll be hidden.
So thank you, everybody. Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out for the evening with us, and have a great Saturday evening and the rest of your weekend, and stay safe.
Peace.
Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.